So we're going to start practice in a bit of a twist. So just having your block handy, you're just going to come to lie on your back and just place your feet onto the mat. And then we're just going to let both knees knock out to the right hand side and bring your block or your book just so that your right knee is resting on top of that block. And your left knee is just going to hover. We're going to bring our hands out to either side and then keeping our gaze nice and neutral. You can even drop your gaze over to the right hand side if you want. Now because we are at the start of practice, just being really gentle here with this opening. So starting to get a little bit of twist in the lumbar spine. In this twist, we're creating more space for our left lung here. So think about sending your breath from your sternum out to the left. And just tapping into our breath a little bit here, just focusing on the inhales and the exhales. And if you have maybe come to practice straight from your desk and you have maybe a bit of that buzz from your day of work, you're welcome to sigh out any exhales, make a couple of fidgety movements to make sure you can really come into this practice. Remember, this practice is for you and nobody else, so just focusing on whatever your body's feeling here. And then just taking one more breath on this side. Then exhale, bringing our knees back through the center. We're just going to bring our block this time over to our left hand side. Now you might want to shimmy your hips slightly to the right and then drop your knees over to the left hand side. And the block is going to come to the outer edge of that left knee. Just to give it a little bit more support. Arms are going to come either side. Then just gazing up or maybe just dropping your gaze slightly to the right hand side. This time sending our breath out through our right ribs. We want to think of our ribs as an extension of our back body. And if we do a lot of twists, it's really the rib cage that we're focusing on, is spinning almost as if the spine was right in the middle. We're spinning the rib cage around it. It's important also that we need to be gentle with our back, so making sure that we're not forcing our body into any movements. That's why we're starting off practice with a nice subtle supported twist. You don't want to make any jerking motion. We want everything to be bled into nice and easily, and then we come out of it nice and easy. Taking another breath here. Then inhaling, bringing your knees up to center. We're just going to bring our knees in towards our chest, placing our hands on our kneecaps. We're just going to do a couple of circles, just so we're massaging into our low back here. And then changing direction. And then just bringing your fingers just behind your knees, and we're just going to do a couple of rocks and rolls. Rocking ourselves forward to a nice comfortable seated position, and then taking your block or your book, we're actually just going to elevate our hips slightly, so just sitting on top of that block and then letting your knees drop out to the side. So you can just come into normal cross seated, or if you want to come into a half lotus where your one of your feet is elevated on your thigh, or if it's comfortable for you, you can stack almost your heels just one in front of one another. And making sure that your knees are a little bit lower than your hips. So if that's not comfortable there, or even if you want to increase it and just lift your block, you can. So we're just going to come into a little bit of a flow here. So on an inhale, we're going to place our left hand over to the left hand side and reach that right arm up to the sky. So getting into that right side body, finding length so we can then lengthen all those vertebrae out. Then inhale through the center, and then exhale, place that right hand over. Inhale, sweep the left arm up, and keep grinding down through your hips. You might feel your left hip here, so really pushing your sit bones into the block. And then coming through the center, placing your right hand onto your left knee, and inhale here to lift out of our hips, and exhale to twist slightly round to the left hand side. The lift is coming right from our hips all the way to the crown of our head. And then coming through the center, left hand to the right knee, inhale again, lift up, and exhale to twist out to the right. So for every twisting movement we do, we want to think about our inhale as lengthening all through the spine, and then the exhale, we're twisting it. And then inhale through the center, reaching your hands up, and then we're just going to twist the left with our hands up in the air. Just bringing our core into action a little bit here. And keep that nice long breath. You feel your ribs expand out. And exhaling through the center, keeping that lift, and inhale and exhale round to the right. And then bringing your hands down to your legs. So we're going to come into a bit of a flow with that. So inhale, sweep that right arm over to the left. Exhale through the center. Inhale, left arm goes over. Exhale through the center. Inhale, twist round to the left. And exhale through the center. Inhale, twist round to the right. Exhale through the center. Inhale, lift those arms up. Stay for an exhale, and then inhale, twist to the left. Exhale through the center. Inhale, twist to the right. Exhale through the center, then back to our side bend here. So you reach over on an inhale. Exhale to come through the center, and inhale to reach to the right, grinding those hips down. Then coming through the center, hands to your left knee, twisting round to the left, pull your low tummy up. And then through the center, round to the right. Then back through, arms above our head. And then just twisting our ribs round to the left hand side. So you feel a nice stretch on the back of your right ribs. Through the center, and then round to the right hand side. And through the center. Then one more time at your own pace. So reaching over. Finding loads of space from your hip all the way to your pinky finger. Coming back through, reaching to the right. Then coming through, right hand to the left knee. Pulling your collarbones away from each other. Coming through the center. Left hand, right knee. Coming through the center, reaching your arms up like you're holding a big beach ball, and then spinning round to the left. This twist will be smaller than the other one. Coming through the center and spinning round to the right. And coming through the center, and then just bringing your hands, palms them up, closing your eyes, and just taking a couple of breaths here. Just seeing how it feels to start to add a little bit of motion into the body. And then removing the block from underneath you, we're just going to come into all fours here. So wrists directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. We're going to come into thread the needle here. So inhale, reach that right hand up, and then exhale, you're going to weave that right wrist behind the left wrist, resting your right arm onto the ground. The right temple is going to come down, and if that is too far away for you, you're welcome to bring your right temple onto a block. So your hips are going to be nice and high up in the air. We're going to feel a nice opening between our shoulder blades here. So just placing your left hand wherever is comfortable on the mat, keeping it grounded. Keeping our tummy nice and loose here. And if you wish, just to increase this slightly, you can stretch your left leg behind you and just come up on your tippy toes there. And if you are feeling more open in your shoulders, you're welcome to bring your left hand across the small of your back. Taking some deep breaths into the back of the right lung. Feeling all those ribs in the back of your body open up. And then if you came into the bind variation or you came up in your tippy toe, just coming back down onto your knees for another breath. And then inhaling up through the center. I'm really sorry, my cat is snoring really loud. So I'm sorry if you can hear her. And then on an inhale, we're going to sweep our left arm up to the ceiling, and then an exhale, weave our left wrist behind our right wrist, so our left arm's coming flat on the ground, left temple down to the mat, and then just placing the arms wherever is comfortable for you. So maybe up in your fingertips or placing the forearm directly down. Keeping your tailbone really high in the air, so we're getting a little bit of axial extension through the spine here. And then staying here for a couple of moments to suss it out, and if you wish, reaching your right leg out behind you to straighten it. And then you can maybe bring your right arm across the small of your back. So we're just challenging our balance a little bit here. And opening up through the right while we open up through the back of the left. And even if you come into the variation and it's not for you, you're welcome to just come back to the normal thread the needle. Using that breath to just find that little bit more extension. So as you breathe deeper, you'll feel your lungs fill up even more, which means your ribs will open up even more. I sometimes find when I start to breathe deeper, I even hear like bones crack and things because I'm just expanding. Taking one more breath here. Then exhale, we're going to come back up into our all fours. And then doing a good old cat-cow. Wouldn't be working the spine without a cat-cow. So on an inhale, we're going to drop our belly down, our tailbone's going to shine up to the sky and lifting our chin up. Gaze comes up. Then exhale, grounding in a hand, push the ground away to round the spine. So our chin is coming in towards your chest, we're looking at your belly button. Inhale, drop the belly down, chin lifts, tailbone shines up. So we're flexing the spine, then exhale, pushing the ground away, bringing your tailbone up towards your breastbone. And now we're extending the spine. So one more time each direction. So flexing the spine, so bringing the spine into almost like a curvature as we would if we were doing a flat back bend. Then exhale, pushing it away as if we were coming into a forward fold. And then coming through the neutral. And then, I don't think this is the yoga term for this, but we call it disco cat. So this idea of as your hip moves over to your left and then moves over to the right. And you start to almost make S-type shapes with the back. So your weight is shifting onto one knee, the other knee onto your hands and your hand. And you can change direction. And I'm sure a lot of you are maybe practicing by yourself, so you're welcome to just make whichever movements you want with your back here. Just moving it in directions that it wants to move today. And then finding some stillness here. We're just going to pick up our back feet and then just stepping forward, coming into our forward fold. And then clasping your fingers together and just placing your fingers just at the base of your skull. Just so we're applying a tiny bit of weight here. Deep bend in your legs. You're actually going to bend your legs so much, you're going to rest your chest onto your quads. And even though we have a deep bend in the legs, still focusing on sending your tailbone up towards the sky. And that allows us to lengthen out even further. And not using your hands to pull us down, just the weight of our hands creating that little bit of extra gravity. Taking one more inhale here, and exhale, lower your hands. Inhale, bringing your hands onto your shins, opening your chest forward, coming into halfway lift, so straightening the legs, open through the chest. Then exhale to forward fold. Then keeping a deep bend in the back, we're going to slowly peel our way up. So stacking vertebrae on top of one another, allowing the tailbone to come to neutral, coming all the way up to the top. and then rolling your shoulders down your back. We're going to reach our hands overhead, making sure your feet are hip width distance, you've got a nice solid base. So reaching the tailbone down towards the earth as you lift the crown of your head up, tucking your tailbone slightly. Inhale here, and on exhale, your left hand's going to come forward, your right hand's going to come back, and keep focused on your hips facing forward here. Just another twist variation like we did when we were seated, grounding down through both feet. Then inhale, sweep your arms through to center. Exhale, right arm comes forward, left arm goes back. And just bringing your gaze wherever is comfortable for you here. Inhale up. And this time you're going to close your eyes and then twist out to the right. So by closing down their eyes, you can just really tap in to where our body's feeling. Inhale through the center. Exhale, twisting out towards the left, keeping those hips forward. Inhale up. Exhale. One more time each side, so twisting out to the right. Inhale up, reaching up through the fingertips, and exhale down to the side, grounding those feet down. Inhale through the center, bring your hands down to center, and then forward fold all the way down. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale to forward fold. This time we're going to grab opposite elbows, just so you have that little bit of extra weight. Big bends in our knees, and again we're going to slowly curl our way up. So this idea of your tailbone's reaching down towards the earth as your head is slowly getting lighter, as if it's being lifted up by a helium balloon, and then lifting your arms away. And then just bringing your hands either side, palms are going to spin forward. We're going to roll our shoulders down our back, and as we do that, it'll automatically make our hands go to the sides. This is called our carrying angle. So as if you were carrying something, this is the angle in which your hands go. And grounding down through both feet, we're just going to dip slightly to the right and then pull ourselves back up. Dip down slightly to the right, then exhale back up. And if you want, you can place your left hand just on the side of your waist, and you'll feel your muscles contracting on that side. So in order for us to twist safely, we need to have the stability for our muscles to do that. So one more time on the right hand side, and then back through the center, and then we're going to dip down to the left. So again, even just placing your hand there for the first couple, just so you can really feel those muscles working. So you want to think about reaching your shoulder away from your hip and then bringing your shoulder back towards your right hip. So in order to twist and do any kind of back bend or back work, we need to make sure that we can do them safely. So engaging these muscles now. Trust me, these are better than doing bicycle crunches. One more time, and then release. Inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, coming down to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. As we do that, we're rolling the shoulders down the back. Exhale, placing your hands onto the mat, and then we're going to step our right foot back, dropping down to our knee. And if you have any knee sensitivity, you're welcome to pad up your back knee, so even folding over a mat or placing a blanket under it. And just before we lift up, just making sure your block is kind of near. So we're going to think about our squaring off our hips here, so let that right hip come forward, left hip comes back, feel really strong in our base, and then inhale to reach up into your low lunge. So squeezing as if our legs were a pair of split scissors. And then lifting from the hips, keeping our tailbone tucked in, not letting those ribs flare out. Taking an inhale here. And then we're going to bring our left hand to our right butt cheek. And then reaching out for that right side, and then just leaning into that, coming into back bend just slightly, and you'll feel a nice lengthening from your right hip flexor. Keep opening through the chest. Then inhale through to center, bringing your hands to prayer position. Reaching out of our pelvis, leaning our weight slightly forward. On exhale, we're going to twist over to the left, and then hooking our right elbow onto our knee. It almost acts like a lever, so as we hook, it means we can twist in a little bit more. So remember, inhale to find line, and exhale to twist, pulling your low tummy up. And you want to think about leaning away from your leg, so try not to dump your weight down onto that leg. Then inhale to come back through center, taking your block to your pinky side edge of your foot, placing your left hand down and really squeeze your legs together. We're going to inhale, reach that right arm up. And push down with that left hand, reach out to that right. Taking a big breath here. And then exhale, placing your right hand down to the mat, peeling your left hand up this time. So you see the direction that we're moving our spine in back and forth here. Bringing it out. One more breath. Then inhale, coming back into our low lunge. Bringing your hands together to touch. And then creating like a little gun shape with our fingers. We're going to inhale, reach all the way up, keeping your biceps in line with your ears. Then exhale, just coming into that small back bend. So the back bend comes from finding length. So as we lift our fingers up, really reaching out of our hips. And then just leaning slightly back into it. Then exhale, placing your hands onto the mat, picking up our back knee, stepping forward into our forward fold. So remember, keeping a deep bend in the knees. Placing our block just underneath our face here. Left hand on the block, reaching our right hand up. And as we do that deep bend in the left knee, our right leg will straighten. Taking one more breath here. Then exhale, swapping up. Right hand down to the block, peeling our heart open to the left hand side. And exhale, hand down to the block. Hands down to your shins. Inhale up to halfway. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, reaching our arms all the way up. So as you reach up, you want to push the ground away. And as you push the ground away, reach your hands towards the ceiling. Then exhale, hands through the heart center. Really grounding that right foot in towards the mat. We're going to slowly peel our left foot up off the earth. So I'm just going to turn around so you can see me a little bit better. And you can either flex the left foot or point the left foot, and the knee is going to be in line with the hip. And we're just going to bring our right hand to the outside of our left knee, our left hand to our hip, and our right hand to the outside of that left knee. And again, we're lifting out of our hips, finding a nice long spine here, pulling the low tummy up. And then on an exhale, just maybe twisting slightly over to the left hand side. So finding that stability in your core, making sure you're not overstretching, and don't throw your gaze far behind you. Keep your gaze nice and neutral here. Taking one more breath, then exhale, slowly coming through the center. Place your foot onto the mat and coming into your forward fold here. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, placing your hands on the mat, stepping your left foot back this time, placing your left knee onto the mat again. You're welcome to pad it up. And before we come into our low lunge, just finding that really strong base again. So driving that right foot into the ground, right knee is going to be directly above the ankle. Right hip back, left hip forward, squeezing those outer hips in. Maybe hovering your fingers above the mat if you feel stable. Then inhaling to reach all the way up. And when we're in our low lunge, we don't want to come into a back bend, keeping that tailbone tucked under and making sure your ribs aren't flaring. Bringing our left hand just to our butt cheek. Our right hand to our butt cheek. My left's one actually messed up this today. So right hand's going to come to our left butt cheek. So we're really opening through that right shoulder. Reaching out of that left hand on exhale, just reversing that lunge slightly. So it doesn't have to be a big movement. The importance here is keeping it nice and long. Then inhaling through the center, hands are going to come to prayer. We're going to reach that chest forward, and on exhale we're going to twist out to the right hand side, placing our left elbow onto our knee. And if you don't quite make it there, just bringing your hands down to your hips and your knee. So again, we want to think about we're spinning around our spine here. We're bringing it out. Again, not dumping the torso on the leg. Keeping nice and open. One more breath here, then exhale, untwisting through the center, just grabbing your block here. Sorry, I should have said, keep it handy. Place it to the pinky side edge of your foot. Hand's gonna come down and we're gonna reach your arm up. So your right arm should be connecting with your right leg here. Just pushing your right leg into your arm back into your leg. And that'll give you more space to open up. And then coming through, placing your left hand this time down onto the mat, opening your heart out towards the right again. And again, try not to think about leaning into this leg. You almost want to come into a bit of a back bend here, so really opening the chest up. And then inhale, come back up to your low lunge. We're going to create that, this is called Kali Mudra, little ray gun shape. It's finding that stability with your low lunge, pointing it forward, doing your Charlie's Angels impression, and then we're going to really reach that up to the sky. When your biceps come in line with your ears, just coming into a tiny back bend here. And then exhale, bringing our hands down towards the mat, picking up your back leg, coming into your forward fold. And if your hands come down to the mat comfortably, you don't need your block, that's fine. If you want to bring your block, just to bring the ground slightly closer, you can. So left hand directly under your face, deep bend in the left knee, straighten the right leg as you twist out towards the right hand side. Keep it, sending the tailbone up. Then inhaling through the center, exhale, reach out towards the left. Deep bend in your right leg this time. Then exhale through the center. This time we're just going to bring our hands just clasp together in our low back. Reaching the knuckles away, and then slowly stacking the vertebrae one on top of the other. Coming up to standing, and then lifting the gaze, and then unclasping your hands. Grounding into your left foot so much that your right foot starts to become light. And you're lifting your right foot up so your knee is in line with your hip. Bringing your right hand to your hip, left hand to the outside of your knee, and making sure you're not pulling that knee across your body so your leg is still dead straight. Finding your stability here, grounding down to your left foot, lifting out of your hips, and twisting slightly open to the right. If you feel stable here, you're welcome to rise your right hand behind you. Keeping your breath, pulling that low tummy up, lifting out of the crown of your head. So we're twisting the spine and we're lengthening it at the same time. Taking one more breath here, then exhale, bringing your hand back down and coming into your forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. Stepping back onto your all fours. And then bringing your knees nice and wide, sinking your hips down. Just coming into child's pose. And the focus of this child's pose is really thinking about really heavy weight in your hips and really reaching those hands forward. So imagining I was pulling your hands forward while someone was hooking their thumbs in your hip bones and pulling them back. This idea of really stretching out. And breathing into your back body. And then just pulling yourself back up to your all fours. Then you're going to come to lie on your tummy. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, untucking your toes. We're going to inhale, roll our chin and our chest forward, coming into our cobra pose here. So we're flexing the back, really grinding down through the feet, squeezing the elbows in, then exhale, coming forward. Inhale, rolling it back up into our cobra. Just making sure our spine is nice and long here. Keeping our gaze neutral. Shoulders away from the ears. And exhale to come forward. This time we're going to come into an exalted cobra. So bringing your hands off the mat, your fingertips are going to face forward. Elbows are pointing towards the ceiling. Really make sure you're pushing down through the feet and your thighs here. And just like our cobra, we're going to roll our chin or chest forward, keeping our spine nice and long, and exhale. We're going to push our hands up, coming into our exalted cobra. And then you're going to have a deep bend in your left elbow, and as you do that, your right shoulder is going to dip down towards the earth. Just coming into not as an intense twist, but more of a stretch into our front shoulder. Keeping those feet nice and heavy. Then inhale, coming up to center, and exhale, this time bending through the right, sending your left shoulder down towards the mat. Then inhale for one more breath in your exalted cobra. Then exhale, coming all the way down to the mat, placing your hands under your shoulders and pushing back to your all fours. Then we're just going to sink our weight back down into our heels. And then just coming to sit in your bum. So you're going to bring your right foot in towards your left inner hip, and then your left heel is just going to come in towards your left bum. We're going to place our right hand just behind us, left hand to our right knee, and just another variation on the twist we did at the start. So remember, inhale to reach out your hips, and exhale, start to twist out to the right hand side. This is getting in a little bit more into our hips. And keep sending those shoulders away from one another. So if you feel like you're bunching forward, rolling your shoulders down your back. Active through the core. And if this feels okay here, you're welcome to place your right foot onto your left thigh. It's almost like a half lotus with your legs. One more breath. And exhale, coming through the center. And then just changing up your legs here. So left heel in close to your right hip. Right foot's going to come in towards your bum. Right hand to the outside of the left leg. Lifting everything up and then twisting out towards the left. Shoulders magnetizing away from one another, making sure they're not creeping up near your ears. And just feeling the layers of this twist. Feeling your body slowly starting to open up through it. And again, if you want to take a half lotus with your left foot, here's just placing your left foot on top of your right thigh, you can. Taking one more breath, then exhale, coming through to center. We're going to come into a pose that I think is called Swasti-Anasana. So you'll understand why it's called that when you come into it. So you're going to bring your left knee directly behind you. So really open it up as much as you can. Your right knee is then going to creep round to the side. So you'll find as you creep your right knee towards the left, your left leg will gradually be able to come further behind you. So keeping your torso up nice and high. So you almost want to think about your torso and your left leg being in one line. They won't be, but that's the general idea. So as you move your legs back, you want to think about, as you move both your legs around to the left, you want to think about bringing your torso forward. And your knees are going to be at right angles here. So just seeing how this pose feels while you're raised up. And then if you want to, you can just come to lie on the mat, on the floor. So this is really targeting our bottom left corner of our back here. And And if you don't want to come down to the floor, that's absolutely fine. Or if you think you've taken the twist far enough without bringing your legs completely behind you, that's absolutely fine. As long as you're feeling this in your body where you need to. If you are on the floor and you want to go any deeper, you can kind of come into that thread the needle style with your arms, just walking your left hand out towards the right. Taking one more breath here. And then exhale really slowly, so it's quite an intense twist, walking your hands back up if you came forward, and then just bringing your knees round in front, just placing your feet onto the mat and just letting them windshield wiper off to either side. And then off, doing it on the opposite side, so bringing your right leg as far behind you as you can, then start to bring your left leg, then you might be able to bring your right leg a little bit further, left leg comes a little bit further. So keeping this right angle so your knee and your heel are in a nice straight line here, so nice right angle with your knee. It might take a couple of adjustments just to find it, that's fine. So legs this time are going round to the right while your chest is coming round towards the left. And just finding this pose. And then if you wish to come to lie on the earth, you can. This time getting the bottom right corner of our back here. And you want to think about sending that right hip away from your left knee. And that'll start to open things, fire things up. Breathing deeply into your right lung. And again, if you want to just increase this pose, you can come into that thread the needle, so walking that right arm away. And kind of a little bit like a twisted pretzel. Taking one more breath here. Then exhale to slowly unwind yourself from this, bringing yourself back up to center, neutralizing through the hips. Placing both feet onto the mat, and then just dropping legs out towards each side. And then bringing both legs out in front. We're going to bring our right foot so that's on the outside edge of our left knee. So pinky side of your right toe with the outside edge of your left knee. Bringing our right hand behind you, left hand's going to go on top of your knee, and use that to really push down to lengthen them up through your chest, and then exhale, twisting out towards the right. And you're welcome to do whatever feels comfortable here with your arms, so you can hook your left elbow onto your right knee, or you can hug that in towards your chest. So by hooking it, you're getting more of a twist, and by hugging it, you're getting more of a stretch along your left shoulder, back of your left shoulder. Just finding whatever is comfortable. Keep grounding down through both hips here. So if you feel your left hip is starting to lift, just back out of it slightly. Keeping the idea of your shoulders moving away from one another. And we're just gradually slowing the body down. Taking one more breath here. Then exhale, bring yourself back through the center. We're just going to do a slight counter twist. So now just a twist slightly out to the right hand side. And then swapping up our legs. So right leg's going to come forward, left pinky toe to the outside edge. And again, you can do your variations with your arms. You can hug your knee in, or you can hook it, or you can just even just place your hands on your knee if that's enough. So reaching that left arm behind you, reaching the chest up out of the hips, and then twisting round. Just doing final movements, letting go. Keeping our spine nice and long. You've been sitting at a desk all day. Hopefully this is giving your body the movement that it was craving. One more breath here, and then an exhale. Slowly unwinding again, just doing a quick counter twist, so just twisting slightly over to the right. And then we're just going to roll over our ankles, just coming back into that all-four shape. We're just going to come into a melting heart pose here. So you're just going to reach your hands forward, keeping your hips up nice and high, dropping our heart down towards the ground. So it's called melting heart. So you want to think about your chest really melting down into the mat. And if it does feel quite far away, you're welcome to put a block under your head here. Taking one more breath. And exhale, just snaking your way forward, just coming to lie on your tummy and then just flipping yourself onto your back. Placing your feet onto the mat. You're going to cross your right leg over your left leg, just like you were sitting at a table. Shifting your hips slightly over to the right and then letting those knees drop over to the left hand side. And if you do want a bit of support here and you want to put your block under your knee, you're welcome to. And then just bringing your hands this time up over your head. So you might need to move it about to make sure that your shoulder blades are down your back here. I want you to really surrender into this pose. Just let the weight of the body do the work. If this does feel too intense and you'd rather come into knees stacked and not crossed, you're welcome to. Just letting your limbs get nice and heavy. Letting your breath return to a normal pace. Maybe starting to soften your gaze slightly. Taking one more breath here. And then using your core, bringing your legs back through the center, uncrossing them if you did. And placing your left leg over your right leg this time. Just walking our hips a couple of inches over to the left just to give ourselves that space, and then dropping our knees over to the right hand side. And if this felt good on one side and not the other side, you're welcome to change it up. Actually, we're going to change the position of our hands. Now I'm just going to bring our hands out to the side. Letting that left knee become really heavy as we start to open up through the bottom left side of our back. And into our glutes and into our hips. Taking this final posture before we come into our Shavasana. Taking one more breath here. And exhale, using your core to bring you through the center, uncrossing your legs. And then bringing your feet so that they're at least mat width. And then walking your legs out to straighten. And then just bringing one hand onto your tummy and then just one hand onto your chest. You've got a nice nourishing Shavasana. So just coming to find some peace here, some still. If you need to take any final movements or any final fidgets, you can lie here in stillness for the next couple of minutes, you're welcome to. It's important not to underestimate your Shavasana. It's an important part of practice. It's integrating everything we've done. It's allowing your body to process everything that was just done. Quite often when we use our body or exercise, we don't take a moment to just see how our body's feeling after it. So maybe doing a quick scan, analysing maybe something that came up for you physically or mentally during that class. And if you want, just taking a big deep breath and exhaling out a sigh. And just letting everything get really heavy. Melt into your mat. Know that your mat is here to support you for the next couple of moments of stillness.